Friends, Ramones, countrymen, lend me your ear. Joey Callio here, music lover, disciple of Keith, wine nerd, Formula One nut, and yes, out of control, musical gear geek. I'm here today to talk to you about a piece of gear that I love. It's one of my favorites. It's one of the first big pieces I got in this band, 7-horse that I'm in, playing guitar. Today we're here to talk about, and yes, I have cheat notes that I look at every once in a while, and other things just come right out of my head, and if it gets crazy, you know which one is which. Today we're going to talk about my Fender 1951 no-caster Telecaster built in 2010. It's very confusing. Definitely sounds like a Fender there. Go figure. Why Fender? Well, we're not going to get into that. Fenders rule. That's all you need to know. I love a lot of guitar brands. I love a lot of guitars. I love Fender Teles. It's just, I mean, look, when it's just there, it just sits perfectly. I love it. Plays great for me. I'm not a shredder. I'm a singer-songwriter that likes to play guitar. But getting back to the guitar, 1951. It's a 51 design. Not built in 51. This is actually built in 2010, hence 2010 at the end of my description. So it's a Fender 1951 no-caster Telecaster. No-caster, what the hell is that? Well, when they first made this guitar, they called it a broadcaster. Because that's just a cool sounding word, right? And TVs were fresh and new, and everyone was going crazy with the airwaves, and I don't know, Ed Sullivan, I don't think he was there yet. Anyways, I'll shut up on that. But they liked the name. But guess what? They got a little call from Gretsch. Gretsch Company said, hey, I know you like that name. We liked it when we came up with it, and we named our drum set the Broadcaster. And as you know, you can't walk anywhere in any Guitar Center without tripping over a Broadcaster Gretsch drum set. But anyways, and now Fender owns Gretsch. It's a little karmic relief there for you. Getting back to the sustain. Get into that in a second. Getting back to the Fender 51 no-caster Telecaster built in 2010. It's a no-caster because after they got in trouble, right here it used to say Broadcaster on this little sticker, this Fender sticker that is applied to the headstock up here. For the year 1951, they started slicing off the word Broadcaster to stay out of legal jeopardy. And so while they were figuring out what the hell they're going to call this damn guitar, it's only a year old or 2 years at that point, not going to be a Broadcaster, what is it going to be? They loved the television scene, so they went back there. They went back to that well. Came up with Telecaster. But for 1 year, they didn't know what the hell to call it, so these are now lovingly called no-casters, and that sounds kind of special and weird, which, go figure, I like it. Anyways, so, and this particular one happened to be built in 2010. We'll get into the specs of it in a second, but let me tell you how I got this guitar. One day, I just decided that's it. I needed to get my first great electric guitar. I wanted a Tele. They suit me, they fit me well. So there's a great store. I hesitate to tell you about it because you're going to want everything they have, but forget it, I'm going to tell you anyways. Wildwood Guitars in lovely Louisville, Colorado. Louisville, I'm sorry, I said Louisville. They pronounce it Louisville. All right. I hopped on a plane. I picked the best day possible. It was whiteout conditions, snowstorm when I landed. I rented a car. It was bad. Had to pull over a couple times to get there, but I finally got there from the airport. I spent 5 hours picking this guitar out. Let's look at it again, shall we? 5 hours picking this guitar out. I had communicated ahead of time and pointed out 15 that I saw on their website, and they have a lot. I narrowed their website down to 15 by looks and specs. Basically, I wanted a lightweight guitar because that's like one of the things you want with a Tele usually. And the way they looked and, all that kind of stuff. Went from 15 to 10, 10 to 5, 5 to 3, 3 to 2, started pulling hair out. What do I do? I don't know. And then, and they were really cool. They put me in a room, a special room, which was a good idea on their part, get me away from the customers. And I spent 5 hours, as I believe I already told you, picking this out. One of the things I loved about this guitar was just the way it feels. This neck is I like fat necks. This neck is perfect. It's fat, not too fat, but fat, which is sort of a trait of old vintage guitars, which I've been lucky enough to play at here and there around the country. And this thing sounded, one of the things I loved about it, it sounds amazing, not plugged in. You're supposed to plug in electric guitars, but there's something about a guitar when it sounds good when it's not plugged in. A lot of times that can translate to sounding better when it is plugged in. One of the things is the sustain. It's got it. It just has it. This guitar is great. What else? Did I mention it's swamp ash? Why swamp ash? You shouldn't have to ask that question. Of course, because it has the word swamp in it. You don't want ash, you want swamp ash if you can get it. It's one piece. Sometimes it's 2-piece guitar. Sometimes I guess they're, 5, maybe even more. They press them together with glue. This is one single piece of swamp ash. Just sounds good talking about it. Maple neck, I believe it's 1 piece. Pretty sure. I saw that in a spec sheet. Kind of looked around. I couldn't find my exact spec sheet. I wanted to know exactly how much it weighed. I know it weighs in the low 6s, which is very low for a Telecaster. You want low weight for a lot of reasons. One of the reasons is your aching back. But also, some people think it has a little bit more sustain. There's a lot of things to do with sustain. What else? Got the 3-barrel bridge. That's vintage style. Like I said, it's a 51, quotes, no caster. So they're going for the style, the look, the build quality of the vintage machines, and the old ones are kick-ass. They're super expensive. This is expensive, but the original vintage ones are crazy expensive. They're 6 figures or, maybe high. You can find some in the high 5 figures, but still, come on. That's expensive. What else we got? That pickup, it came with 2 pickups made by Fender, but wound by Abigail Ybarra. And they call them Abby hand wounds. That's just one of those lore things. Abby hand wounds. It's like, I don't know. It's like a baseball nickname, Abby hand wound. I kept this one, sounds amazing. I put a Lawler pickup on this one up here. I love Lawler pickups. I use them a lot in a lot of different guitars that I have. We'll talk about him probably a lot. His stuff is killer. He's in the Great Northwest, by the way, and it's raining outside. It's speaking of swampy, it's pretty swampy outside. What else? These are grease bucket circuits. Again, come on, grease buckets, swamp ash, all these little names, you gotta love it. I believe it just means that it doesn't get too boomy. What is it? I wrote it down. What does it say? Grease bucket circuit, when you roll off high, you roll it off without getting too boomy. I was right. I didn't need to look at my cheat notes, damn it. It's got a barrel-shaped selector top, which is period correct. It's before they had the top hat. Look all that stuff on the YouTube. This is Nocaster Blonde, I believe. So is the color, by the way, is what I'm talking about. I put that on as a water slide, but she lost her head. That happens in the guitar world. That's a cheat. That's a Calio cheat. Keep that to ourselves here. That's so I can tell what the hell I'm doing when it gets dark on stage. Other than that, it's pretty Telecaster-like. There's nothing crazy. I think that's a Bakelite plastic. Or I guess Bakelite is different than plastic. Or is Bakelite a type of plastic? I don't know. I've never made plastic. I'm not a plastic expert. Plastics. I know they are the future, though. That I do know. What else? Oh, the profile of the neck. It's a U shape, they call it. It's pretty beefy. It's pretty beefy. It's in the baseball neck kind of territory, but not too beefy. It's a 9.5 radius, 9.5 inch radius. Means it's a little wider than the vintage radius that they used back in the day, which was 7.25. Again, YouTube that. Why am I saying YouTube? You could probably just Google that. It'd be good enough. You don't need YouTube for that. What else? I love it. Did I already say that? I know, I did, because I do. 21 frets, Dunlop. 6105, it says right there. Again, that's sort of a nerd thing. It's not that important. It has to do with the fret size. Anyways, this thing, this guitar, I love it. I use Kurt Mangan strings, by the way, if you care. It's not really part of the guitar. It is now, but you can put any strings you want. I use 11s. Seems to work for me. Anyways, listen to that sweet sound of a Fender. Nocaster. Again, not a shredder. Singer-songwriter, Joey Calio. Thank you for listening. If you ever get your hands on one of these things, get it, buy it, keep it, love it, live it. Joey Calio and Telecaster, 51 Nocaster, out.